Now, so the reason why I got you guys to prepare those questions is because today we actually have a very special guest. And this is a person that is very busy because he's a global speaker, and you have actually met him many times today and even during the webinar. So I invited my mentor to come. Can you please stand up everybody, and can you please give a big round of applause to Ron Kaufman. Woo! Wow! Oh my God! Ah! Thank you so much for coming, Ron.
Thank you.
Can we get?
Hello.
Are you happy with this surprise?
What a treat. Me too.
Yes,
Me too. I'm surprised. Wow, look at all of you. You're magnificent.
Oh my God, look at that. Can we give you a big round of applause again?
Wow.
Thank you so much for making time.
A pleasure.
I'm actually very nervous because now I have to interview him. Okay, you guys can take a seat. See, I told you, you never know when you get to meet a successful speaker and you want to make sure you're ready, right? So I hope you're ready. So those of you who watched the webinar, Ron, I introduced them many weeks ago, and I always use this picture. Do you remember this picture?
I remember it well.
When we did our coaching?
Very well. Yes.
When I was at your place?
Yes, and then afterwards you went, oh, my back.
And then I always tell them that you are the Yoda in the speaking world.
Funny, I thought I was Obi-Wan Kenobi, but...
That would be actually very cool too. Okay, so I really kind of prepared Ron, and he's just going to spend an hour with you guys. And you have a chance to ask him any questions that can help you speed up your journey towards being successful. Now, I'll kickstart the ball rolling, shall we? Then after that, you guys raise your hands and ask questions, okay? Because you're all fellow speakers.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Can I?
Yes. Please
okay.
do.
Okay, delighted to be with you guys. Thank you so much, Eric, for this magnificent invitation. What a treat. Have you been having fun? Oh, yeah. Have you been learning a lot? You realize you're working with like the guru master?
I didn't ask you to say that.
You know that, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Okay. Before, one more thing. Would you please take your hands and rub them together? Rub, make them nice and warm. Ready? Clap twice. Boom, boom. Hands up. When I say go, you're going to turn right or left and say to the person next to you, please be my partner. Ready? Go. Okay, now I'm going to check. I'm going to say, ready? 1, 2, 3. Show me your partner. And you go like this. Ta-da! Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Ta-da! Right. Now, the reason I did that is because some people, like you right there, went, because everybody went that way. So would you make a moment right now? You can have a group of 2, or you can have a group of 3. But no one should be left alone. Ready? Ready? So again, turn to your partner. Say, hello, partner. We're going to be partners. Right. So then Eric is going to warm up with his great questions and we'll have our dialogue. Yes. But when it's time for you to ask a question, before you just go, I got a question, we're going to have you talk to your partner and make the question even better. Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so I'll start the ball rolling, okay? So Ron, how long have you been in the speaking business?
When I was in my early 20s, actually even before that, when I was in high school, how many of you know the game Ultimate Frisbee? You've seen it, right? Okay. I was in high school when the rules were first written. And I'm too small to play any other major sport, so they let me on the Ultimate Frisbee team. And when my high school went off to our colleges, we started our college teams. And then and it became literally a career after college for 8 years. I did Frisbee professionally around the world. I had a mail order catalog selling collectible Frisbees. I organized tournaments and festivals and players associations. And you know what? I knew what was going on that field. I knew how the game was played. I knew who the people were. And so when the public would come to these tournaments and the finales and finals, who was naturally the right person to have the microphone? Me. Now, it wasn't paid like we're going to pay you to be the MC, but remember, I had the concession selling Frisbees. So I learned how to work with the mic and work with the crowd at a very, very early age before I became a commercially successful speaker.
So if you get to name your entire speaking career using a movie title, what title would you use?
It would be called the spirit of the game.
Oh.
Okay.
I could very much see on Netflix.
Explain.
But explain, yes.
Explain. In Ultimate Frisbee, the first rule is called the spirit of the game. And what it says is the people on the field are responsible for the quality and the spirit of play. So yes, we're going to compete. Yes, it's a real game. Yes, there's a score. But ultimately, at the end of every game, both teams have to acknowledge each other and what happened for the quality of the spirit. Yeah? And that one's been carrying me ever since.
Beautiful. Well, I can start the ball rolling, right? So who wants the...
You want to ask a
Ask the
question?
first question?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Talk to your partner. We're only going to give you like 30 seconds, 1 minute. Talk to your partner. What question do you want to ask? And then work together to make the question even better, or to help your partner prepare to ask it in a cogent, clear way. Okay, you got 1 minute. Turn to your partner. Go. Who's up?
Okay.
Bingo. Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Okay, let's run to them. 1 and then 2.
So my question...
Stand up. What's your name?
My name is Nahil.
Hello.
Nahil.
Hi, Nahil. Nice to see you.
So my question is, where do you find or dig out the fire and passion during each and every speech? Where do you bring it out from?
I get it from you. Okay, so this is real. It's like people ask me all the time, where do you get all that energy? I say, I get it from me, from people, right? Because when I get up here and I get the privilege of doing what I do, and you light up and you smile or you laugh or whatever, do you think I get energy? Yeah. Oh yeah, and then you just do it like, bah, 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 bah. Yeah. So literally, I walk up on stage and I never really have stage fright because I've already decided I love you all. And now here I come, right? So, okay, and it works. It works. You know that expression, as you give, so you shall receive?
Yeah.
It's missing the first part. It's like, receive, and then give, and you'll receive more. Thank you. Roll.
Great question.
Yay!
How do you choose?
What? See, how many times are we going to do this? What's your name?
My name is EJ. I
Hi,
run a
EJ.
swimming school in Malaysia.
Cool.
Yeah. How do you choose your networking circle in order to be where you are today?
Okay, great question, huh? Great question. So, the professional speaking industry, as glamorous as it looks, don't you love it when he does his videos and it shows him in the hotel getting all ready and he's sitting on the business class seat with the champagne. And,
He watched all my videos.
and you know what? It's a lonely profession. Because you're in airport lounges and then you're backstage, but you're blah, blah, blah. So 20 years ago, a few of the other professional speakers and I got together and we founded an association called Asia Professional Speakers. And we get together and learn and share, and the first purpose was to meet our colleagues. Like, find everybody else. Where are my peeps? Right? And then we would create a community and we'd care about each other, and then we'd work on always developing our skill, our competence, and improving and learning and helping and teaching each other. Right? Now, they don't do anything like this. So you're in the right place with the right guy to be learning everything that you're learning. Yeah, it's a very intensive program you guys are on. Yes? And the more you put in, the more you get out? Yes? Okay, so that's really like a teacher, a real guru master teacher, and a lot of people will want to learn from him. Whereas your question was, who's my networking circle? And so amongst that kind of a group of other professional speakers, we network, like, what camera do you use? And how do you handle this? And what about that? And jet lag. And like, there's a big discussion going on right now. After you've published your book, you're going to spend the rest of your life promoting it. And people put so much effort into writing the book, and then they wake up the next day and go, oh my God, nobody's buying it. Because now you got to promote. Why do you think that book is sitting right there? Okay, we had one of the ladies.
Yes, come. We have an hour, okay, so let's maximize this.
We got time. And Eric has some other very cool questions.
My name is Monam.
Hi, Mona.
This will be my second time to see you in person because I've attended your course when you're doing for the government program on a customer service.
Oh, great. Where were you working then?
Okay, I'm still with the same organization, which is in the IT. Yeah.
Okay, it was like NCS at the time, or?
I should think so, around that time.
Okay.
So I've known you for a long time.
Donkey years.
And then I also bought your book.
Wow.
The edition then.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and then what happened was I read the book, and I also still remember the story you mentioned about you coming to Singapore, the quality, the difference, we are there but not there yet. Using the example of installing a telephone line by Singtel, they leave the debris on, they're very efficient, they're
Okay.
good.
Yep.
But they are not there yet because they left the debris
Boy, you
on the
remember
floor.
that story.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
And by the way, that was an example of having a phone line installed at the house back in the day of landlines, that kind of thing, and using it the very next day in my teaching. So I know one of the things that Eric talks about is what unique experiences do you have? But it doesn't have to be, oh, I climbed the mountain. It could be, yeah, I had a phone line installed and the people came and left a mess. But I'm using it, and you know what? It's authentic.
Yeah.
It's you. It's real. That matters. Yes. What's your question?
And then it stuck with me. Okay, yeah, my question would be, because I know you then previously, I also read your book. I also used it as part of my customer service and operation journey and as part of my IT work and all. My question to you would be, what do you think in these years of like maybe 10, 20 years, what do you think would have changed? Or is the focus still the same? I know you mentioned about quality.
Yeah.
I think that would still be an element of it. Is there any other things perhaps you can share with us so that we can take away?
That would be a 45-minute speech.
Okay. My answer will be different than perhaps what you expect. Okay? One of the big things that I've seen change here in terms of customer service, and are you Singaporean? You are. Okay. Is the customer. Not the service provider. I mean, yes, that's changed, and there's technology change and all of that competitive. But as much as Singaporean customers were already a bit entitled, now they've become very entitled. And it's a problem. Because in the world of customer service, there's two words. One is service. That's the service provider. Their job is to take action to create a valuable experience for you. That's their job. But the other half of the equation is the customer. And there are things that every customer can do to be a better customer, to make it easier for the service provider to serve you, to demonstrate respect and appreciation, to be well prepared, to be flexible when necessary, etc., etc. And yet, if the customer shows up and goes, I'm the customer, it's your job to serve me, and I'm here to judge you, then we've already got a tension, we got a problem. And I've seen that change. So a lot of times people, what's wrong with customer service in Singapore today? And I say, it's the customer. Okay, now I'm telling you that. Yeah, go ahead, give it a clap. And I'm telling you that because in this room, we got 120 active customers. And the next time you're served by a Grab driver, by a bus driver, by somebody in a store or whatever, are you going to be the one that just takes that moment to give them and say, you know, you've got a great smile? Or thanks so much for taking me today. Or excuse me, but could you help? And at the end saying, I really appreciate it. You know how rare that is for the service providers? And it can make a big difference. That's what has changed and what I think we can change.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you.
Super.
Leave a legacy here. Next question. Okay, she was very fast, and then we'll go to Martin, okay? Come
Okay.
on.
And then I want your next question.
Oh, yes, okay.
He has a good one.
Yeah. What is the one thing?
Wow, you got someone to raise hands.
That was
for you.
great. Yeah. Boy, that was partnership in action, right? She goes, I'm raising my hand so you can give the mic to her.
What's the one key thing that differentiates, in your opinion, a good speaker from an excellent speaker and get paid more?
Okay, very good. Good question, right? So there's a distinction between domain expertise and thought leadership. Okay, let me explain. Thought leadership is a very sexy phrase right now. Ooh, I want to be seen as a thought leader. I'm out on the front. People are going to be clicking me and reposting and sharing and commenting on what I said. I'm a thought leader, right? But they don't understand how much homework you have to do to master domain expertise. So give me an example of an area that you're interested in. Take the mic. Okay?
Web3 and cryptocurrency.
Okay, Web3 and cryptocurrency. So how clearly can you explain and articulate to somebody else Web 1 when it started, what were the key innovations during that, and how did it change social and commercial practices in the world? Web 2, what happened next? How long did that take? Who were the key speakers? Which companies emerged during that era, and which ones then fell away, because we're now in an era of the emergence of Web 3. And how is that going to be different from the previous ones? And what is that moment in time that we're in, where innovation is constantly occurring, and here's the opportunity? In terms of currency, can you explain to me the history of money? Do you understand how it moved from one era to another, and what it means in today's world, and what kind of infrastructure cryptocurrency lives on and is dependent in? And what's gone wrong with it? And what happened to Binance and FTX? And why is there concern regarding what is called, state currencies? You get my point? So if you want to, oh, that's my field, right? But have you done the homework to really, in a disciplined manner, learn your field so you can stand in the present? And people can ask you those kinds of questions, and you go, thank you for asking an intelligent question. Let me have a good conversation with you to demonstrate I'm the person who knows what she's talking about. Great, what do you think is going to happen next? Ah, people pay me to tell them that. And now you're a paid speaker. You get my point?
Thanks, Ron.
You're
I'm a
good.
fan now.
You're welcome. You got work to do, right? Right. Okay, good.
But
Thank you.
maybe let's pause here for a moment. Something clicked in you, right? What was it? What was the takeaway?
I know how to charge more for my speeches now. Currently, I'm charging 3,000 for one speech, and I do over 100 speeches globally already on this topic. So the aha moment that I got is that first, actually two aha moments. I'm like, you're not in the Web3 domain space, and yet you inspired me. So I think there's skill there. The second thing is that I know exactly how to communicate the domain knowledge right now, especially to people who are not in the space, not people who are in the space, right? Yeah, so thank you for that.
Right, in which case your positioning becomes what you need to know about Web.3 and cryptocurrency today, because tomorrow's coming. Okay, I mean, you refine that was just a rough draft, right? But you get the point. The position is like, oh my God, she knows where we've been, and she can help me see where we're going. That's easily $5,000 for a speech.
Yeah, I know. Oh, wow. I see. I totally see. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
So can you not understand what is it like spending a year with him every time like this? Oh, I got it. No, I'm glad you asked the question. It's great.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna pause there for a moment. Oh wait, Martin first, and then I'll ask my
your question. Go
Martin,
on.
go. Martin's from Germany.
Hi, Ron. I saw you on YouTube before because you gave this talk about I'm a Singaporean. I gave up my U.S. citizenship.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. It wasn't a talk, just to be clear. It was an interview by a gentleman named Max Chernov, who is a Russian background, and he's formed a really interesting position in the professional speaking industry. He's created a YouTube channel with 250,000 hits on most interviews, and that must bring him some pretty nice checks from Google.
Yep.
Right? And so, is he a professional speaker? Well, he knows how to interview, and he gets paid, so that's a form of a professional speaker. Now, he's also got phenomenal editing that goes on. If you watch one of his videos, it's very, eye candy, and it keeps you rolling along, and I was delighted to be on a show. Oh, and he found his niche. So his niche is that he interviews people who are not native Singaporeans about being in Singapore, and his purpose is to create better relational understanding amongst people of different backgrounds. Pretty cool, right? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Excellent. I'm also a Singaporean.
Okay, very good. Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
My question is this. You appear like an extrovert. And I would like to know, are you an extrovert or do you just play to be an extrovert, and does it help to give this speech? And I give you something like a stepstone. After you give a speech and then you talk with the audience, do you go home and do you go to bed directly and you sleep, oh, what a wonderful evening? Or do you need hours to unwind from that experience?
Very, very valid question for the introverts. Yeah.
Okay, so to me there's two questions there. One is the introvert-extrovert question, and the other one is how do you decompress, right? And I should let you know, all of you are giggling and laughing, but the one who's laughing most is my wife. She's over there.
Hi, Jen.
Would you stand up for a second? My wife, Jen. Because, man, that hour and a half afterwards, she's the one going, oh, please, chill down, man. Okay, so the first question is, remember, where do I get my energy from?
The audience.
So that's an extrovert. You love being with people. You take me to a party, I'm going to walk around, get to know everybody, and there's not going to be a dull moment. Okay, but how do I decompress? Because trying to go to sleep after that is not the easiest thing in the world. All my energy is all stirred up, right? And there was an era as I was traveling where I needed afterwards to come off the stage. I'd go take a shower or whatever, change my clothes. And fortunately, in a lot of those hotels that you stay in when you're traveling around, especially in this part of the world, there would be a store that sells carpet. That sells, like silk carpets and wool carpets from around the world. And I'd literally walk in and just stroke the carpets. Seriously. And that tactile connection with fiber and color. And if I had to go straight to the airport, it would be a store in the airport that sold ties. And you're looking at my uniform. You see me on stage, it's going to be a white shirt and a red tie and a blue suit because that way I never get my dress wrong. But still, we have like 16 red ties, and that's from a collection of 50 when I'm giving a bunch of them away. And so that would be my decompress. And that is very solitary. It's a very alone kind of thing.
But Ron, how do you discover that carpet is your thing or your kink?
My kink.
Like
Jen, I think he's suggesting something here.
Touch a lot of things to realize, carpet's my thing. How do you discover it?
I think it was literally, in fact, I can see, I think it was in Karachi. I'm in the hotel lobby, I'm all wound up, and there's a store there that sells carpets, and I walk in, and the thing about being a carpet dealer is what you want is to just start unrolling carpets, because the more that the prospect sees, the more opportunity this is for conversation and maybe a sale, okay? And of course, as a Westerner, I'm thinking, no, don't do that because then I'm obliged.
Yes,
and he made it very clear, nah, it's cool, you don't have to buy anything, I'm just gonna unroll my wares for you. And so I could start to and it was probably as much from that guy letting me know that it was cool, you can chill out and relax, as it was the carpets, but it became a ritual.
Wow, I think the key word here is ritual, right? We have to find our own personal ritual.
All right.
Now, I'm going to hijack
since you mentioned that, can I go to the other side of the speech? The other side of the speech, okay, which is when I'm being introduced. Okay. And the MC would always like to come up with something or show off who they are as the MC. And if your client hired me, here's my introduction. And it's on my website, and I make sure the client has it, and there's a hard copy printed out inside my suit jacket in case at the last minute the MC either doesn't have it or thinks she's going to wing it. And I say, I tell you what, here's the introduction. You can add a little bit, but here's the introduction, because I know exactly what's in it. I know why it's written that way. I know the position and the condition the audience is going to be when I come up from the back, not off to the side. And I'm in the back, and the moment I hear certain words, you can watch me, so like my body's going like this. And it's just that, okay, boom, boom, and here we go, up on stage. So there's a ritual at the opening as well as a decompression one at the end.
That's a useful tip, right, for next week when we're working on it. Ask him a lot more about the technical part later. I think that'll be very helpful. But I'm going to hijack, because there are a few questions that will help you guys ask more questions. Your background, right?
Rock and roll.
So you mentioned that you were playing Frisbee and then you started doing MCing. But at what point do you realize that you could actually go pro?
I can do this, it's going to go,
Yeah.
it's going to work, right?
Because half of them are in that situation, right? When will they know that they can go pro?
That they can go pro. So in Frisbee, it was bringing people together for an event.
Yep.
And so it was whether or not the weather held out, right? And the radio station did their job and people came, and that was just pure fun. In teaching, when I first came to Singapore, the country wanted to build a service quality training center for the adult working population throughout the whole country. And they roped in Singapore Airlines for the credibility, but not to train Singapore Airlines because they were fine. And so we built a boot camp, and I was involved in creating the curriculum and then master trainer and teaching other people how to do the training, but that wasn't keynote speaking. And then it was for SATs, the ground handling. They hired me to do something ridiculous like 28 one-day workshops so that they could get all the people to come through. Well, if you're going to do the same workshop for 28 times, you end up figuring out which stories you're going to use. And then you start to get pretty good at telling those stories. because you know where the pause is, and you learn where the laugh line is going to become. You know how to move the body and how long to leave and the intonation. And I can see, remember, professional speaking is not just winging it. It's speaking professionally. And so then 3 years into being in Singapore in 1993, I got my first ever invitation to give a keynote speech. And it was at an insurance congress. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to have to speak for 1 hour nonstop. What am I going to do? Oh, well, if I start with this story, and then I roll into this story, and then from that I roll into that story, but there won't be time for the audience to do the work like they would if it was a workshop. And I literally strung them together, and in 1993 I gave my first ever keynote speech. It's actually on YouTube. You can find it, and we pulled it out the other day for the Speakers Academy, to show the opening and the close, and I look at it and I go, God damn, that was good. and that's when I realized I can do speaking as well as MC, as well as trainer, both of which are esteemed positions. But a keynote speech is, you're on, nobody else is up there with you, and you got to roll with the audience and with the time for the whole thing.
My next question was, at what point do you realize you're good? I think he answered that question when he delivered his first speech, right? But that was also because of the training background.
And it's just for fun. I remember first speech, right? I'm backstage, the person before me is on, the announcer hasn't yet started to do the introduction, and what am I doing? I'm in the back with a Walkman, because there was no iPod or anything then. And I've got headphones on, and I'm listening to Elton John do Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting at full blast, because I'm just going like this, to get up on stage and do my first ever speech.
Wow.
That ritual I don't do anymore.
Okay, Ron, 1993, now it's 2023. You've seen... Can we calculate? My math is not good. 2023 minus
30 years, baby. 30
years celebrating. Can we give you a big round of applause? 30 years. And it's like a new speech.
Still
and
loving
you can do it 30 years and you're not
Still
done.
loving it. Still loving it. When you see somebody doing a Broadway show, and they do the same damn show night after night after night after night, but you ask them, they say it's never the same show.
Yeah.
You know what changed? The audience. It's the vibe. It's the electricity, it's the reception, it's the mood, it's the tone, and when you're up on stage, here's the biggest key. It's not about you. Yeah, you got the check, you got selected, but it's not about you. It's about what's happening for them. And so when you devote yourself to the well-being of others, believe you light up. The best of you comes out naturally.
That was one of the best advice I got from him during coaching, because I told him that I was very nervous. I was having stage fright. And you know what he said to me? He said, Eric, do you know why you have stage fright? Because you shine the light on yourself. When you put the light on yourself, you care about what the audience think about you, obviously you're going to be nervous. He said, if you start shining the light on others, how can I make this the best speech ever? Nervousness goes away because it's not about you. So that was one of the best advice I got for public speaking.
Anxiety is replaced by curiosity.
Loving it, guys. Over to you. What else do you want to... Oh,
Yes, sir.
so many. Lawrence, and then after that, we have you, and then we have you, okay? 3 of you. Okay, go. Over there, Zach.
And then after that, we need one woman in the audience to ask.
No problem. There's so many. Sarah can ask. Come, Lawrence.
Hi.
So, knowing
What's
what
your
you
name?
know, my name is Lawrence.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi.
L-A-U or L-A-W?
LAW. Yeah. So, knowing what you know now, if you were to start all over again, what are 3 pitfalls that you will avoid?
Hold on 1 second, okay? Just hold on.
30 years is a lot.
Okay. Health, relationships, and friendships.
Health, relationship, and friendship.
Friendships.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1 is I would take seriously the impact, I would anticipate and take seriously the impact on my physical health. I did 100 flights a year for 29 years. Okay, that's 37,000 feet more than ever being in my own bed. I used to get my best sleeps on a long haul flight. Okay, it sounds sexy, doesn't it? Ooh, you must be getting checks and all. It's really, it's success, but it's also takes a really serious physical toll. If COVID had not occurred, I wouldn't have stopped. I was addicted. I'd get into a hotel room and the first thing I would do is look and see, when am I leaving? and where am I going next? Okay? Just, I would have paid a different attention and recognized the pitfalls with my help. Relationships, thank God I'm with Jen, because she's as amazing and as flexible and as tolerant and as supportive and as encouraging as she is. Thank God. Okay? But I was previously married, and that marriage, you know, we have a wonderful child, which now has 2 moms. But, you know, what happened there is I just wasn't around. So I'm not saying that I should have not done my career. I'm just saying thinking about what could be a pitfall and what kind of relationship to develop. And then the other one is friendships. That I'm reading a book right now about, you know, from strength to strength as you age and you want to get stronger, even though inevitably there's a physical decline or a cognitive decline that just is human, it happens, right? And he says, you know, there are real friends and then there are deal friends. And you know, you'll meet a lot of people in your business who become deal friends. Real friends takes a very different kind of cultivation and commitment and devotion. You don't need a lot, but they need a different kind of curating and care. So those are the 3 I would have.
Wow. I love it. Thank you. And can we dive deeper? So if there's one health, like they're going to be flying quite a bit, they all want to fly 100 flights or maybe more. What is a tip for us? I mean, he gave me a book during my birthday. It's called How Not to Die. Remember the book, the big thick book?
Damn good book,
Yeah,
right?
it's still
Right.
there,
Right.
unread, but
Right.
but that book, he really cared a lot about dieting. But could you share then some tips?
Yeah, so, I mean, drink a heck of a lot of water. And I said water, not soda. Okay, not pop, not carbonated, fizzy, sugar, dense, etc. Watch your diet, like crazy. I mean, the reality is, what is it? Exercise, sleep, and diet, right? Think, sleep, eat, you know. So, sleep, good luck. Depends on which time zones you're bouncing through and what time the flight was and where you have to be next, right? Get what you can, do what you can for that. Exercise, give it your best shot in whatever version works for you. Like for me, I walk a couple of hours every day. Why walk? Why not the gym? Because when I'm walking, I can listen to a book. Because when I'm walking, I can be on a phone call. And when I walk, I pick up trash.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of this weird hobby I have inside the hobby of walking.
You just pick up trash like this.
But I walk for the sake of getting my exercise, right? And so that was, and then the one that you can easily control is food. So clean it up. Clean it up. Whatever that means for you. If it means less meat, or if it means less sugar, less refined diet, you know, whatever it is for you. Okay?
Love that. And then relationships.
What about them?
Any tips for us? We'll be flying a lot. We'll be away a lot. How can we still maintain the relationship?
You have to have some real deep, honest conversations with the people you have a relationship with. Like literally go home and sit down with your family members and say, you know, can we talk? I need help. I want your advice. I'm listening. I'm listening. And see what they have to say to you about what they think would make you a better brother or a better son or daughter or sister or mother or partner. I'm not saying you're going to follow everything they say, but if you can at least let yourself hear it well, it's going to naturally influence some of the choices that you make.
Love that. Get ready. Unless your partner can fly with you as well. It'd be pretty cool. Right?
That is cool.
That would be cool.
That is cool. When Jenny and I fly together, we just got back from Spain, US, Brazil, Singapore in 24 days.
Oh, how nice. I still want to travel more. Oh, by the way, he's an avid scuba diver. He loves octopuses. I get a lot of octopus gifts from him. Yeah, so you have to tell the octopus story later.
Okay, later.
Okay, I don't want to take your time.
Yep,
So questions
shoot.
come. Go to.
Hi Ron.
Hi.
It is nice to meet you again. I think the first time I met you when you just launched your book, Up Your Service.
Thank you. That was the first book, it was 2000. What's your name?
I'm Tan JN here.
Hi, Tom.
Okay. The time you say yesterday excellent service is today's expectations.
Yeah.
That's why you have to continuously up your service. And today I'm hearing from you that what needs to be changed is the customer. So what will you write in your next book?
Oh, that's a great question.
Up your ass, customer. Got it. Done. I will write a forward.
Are we filming this?
Yeah, we edit it out. Edit it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's go deep with this. We'll go fast, but we'll go deep. What is service? Service is taking action to create value for someone. Okay, that's a definition I wrote. It's been the foundation of a 30-year career as a service expert. Okay, service is taking action to create value for someone, and that correlates to a top-line revenue or a spreadsheet of some sort or some score. Okay, ranking, etc. What it doesn't answer is what makes something valuable to someone. Okay, what makes something valuable to someone is when it contributes to that person's well-being, in their estimation. Okay, now it could be their financial well-being. You help me save money, or make money, or get value for my money. That's called commercial service. But it could also be physical. You help me get better, stay well, recover. Or it could be relational. You help me and my spouse become more connected. You're a therapist. Or it could be existential. You help me get a sense of purpose and meaning for my life. And on and on. Yeah? So if service is taking action to create value for someone, and what makes something valuable is when it contributes to their well-being, then what is care? Care is a real, genuine concern for someone's well-being. But when we say take good care, it's not just concern, there's got to be action. Okay? So it's concern and commitment to well-being. So if I say take good care, I mean take action, and you can see the relationship between service and care. And what they share is this devotion to creating well-being. Okay? In the future world, given the ecological era in which we live, in which the world is going through the crisis that we're living in, and the geopolitical tensions that exist, and the financial uncertainties that exist in the world today for humanity, I think all of us have an underlying or a very surface present concern about well-being. Concern about our own well-being, our family's well-being, and our community's well-being. So for example, he very proudly said, I'm a Singaporean. Right? So you care, I would imagine, not just about yourself, but about the well-being of this community. True. Okay, good. So then you start to go back and go, well, who's the service provider? Not the right question for the future. The question for the future is, who cares? And you start to realize, wait a minute, everybody cares. Cares about what? And then we start to expand our circle of what we care about from, I care about me, like my body. I care about me, like my family, my friends. I care about me and my profession, but if I have a profession, I then have colleagues. I care about each other. I care about, well, I could sell to my client, but do I care about my client? If I want a long-term career, I better find the clients and the topics that I care about. Do I care about my community? Do I care about my country? Do I care about the world? Do I care about the future? And so that's really the future of service, is care. And that's another one of those domains that's not well taught in school. Just like service is not very well taught in school, so I think I've got another 30 years of work ahead of me.
Beautiful. Yay. I love the word care. I think someone over here has a question. Yourself?
Yes, sir.
Name and then your question.
My name is Owen.
Hi, Owen.
We had a question down there, and I'd like to ask, what would it take for me to shadow you for the next 30 days?
Wow, that's a great question. You're putting him on a tight spot, but good one.
Yeah, you'd have to become really good friends with my wife.
Over there. I can give you some tips, but yes, she's over there.
Yes, you can.
I can.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because, I mean, here's an example of a very elegant, flamboyant, right, guy who's comfortable in his own skin. Right? And who's invented himself as somebody who cares like crazy for other people, shining his light towards you so that your light will shine, which will bask on him and everybody else. Okay? That way of being already shows up as an authentic human being that other people might enjoy being around. Okay? So, right? You asked the question in a very legitimate way, Owen, and I really respect you for that, right? And if you were going to articulate it again, you might want to come up with something like, I'm just wondering, how could I be of service and support to you so that I could be around for, during the next 30 days, and not, instead of being like, a pain or a problem, that I could be helpful for you. And I'm going, well, that's interesting. Tell me more about you. So I know what you're good at and what you're good for. And then we could see where we might have some collaborative overlap. And what are you doing next Thursday? And well, why don't you come over to the house and say, But notice how the question changed? From putting the concern and the care for the well-being of Ron at the center of his focus. Oh, he'll get what he wants, but he'll get it by contributing to the well-being of somebody else.
I love it. Actually, that's a very good question in future we can ask any future mentors, right? Right, which is, how can I add value to you so I can hang out with you? Love it. Beautiful. Okay, come. Go. There you go. Yes.
No, actually, I want to shine the spotlight on my friend Hanson. He asked that question
you get
to himself.
Shisabo Yuman.
No, I didn't. I want to highlight that.
Stand up.
Ask
Okay.
the question, Hanson.
You've been voluntold.
He was like, huh? Why me?
He's saying, what am I doing here?
Oh yeah, my question was
Yes.
similar to what he
What's
was
your
asking.
name?
Yeah, my name is Hanson, and you can call me Handsome also. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
Hi, handsome.
Logan.
Yeah. So,
You're not married yet, right?
Getting married next year.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Correct. So
Remember, after you're married, it doesn't have anything to do with whether you're handsome. She's always beautiful. Yeah, you got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Your question. You just want to say hi, handsome.
My question was like, how can I be of value to you? Yeah, in any ways, right? So that I can learn something, right? That can help you if I don't have that skills.
Sure. It's an authentic question you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, for example, I have no idea who this guy is or what he does or anything like that. I would say, why don't you follow me on LinkedIn? I have a team of people who take my content and they post every Monday to Friday all year long. It's a heavy lift, right? That isn't what gets you people watching and following. It's whether or not other people interact with what it is that you post. So watch those short video clips or look at the images or whatever, and when you feel moved, contribute. What does that mean, contribute? Write a comment. Write an interesting comment. Write a provocative comment. Think about the comment that you're going to write so that you become another person in that little ecosystem of social media interest who's showing some engagement with what we're putting out there, but ideally in a way where even other people then engage with you. Or where I can reply to you, and then we can have a, because that's what LinkedIn's algorithm is watching. But also, if you contribute something interesting, it's going to enrich that space for other people that you and I will never meet. And it doesn't matter that we don't meet them. What matters is we did something beneficial for them. Because the world is not keeping track like keeping score. It's just feeling the energy and bringing it back.
I love that. And a quick tip for you, right? Because if you want to get to know speakers, speakers write books. So there was one year where there was this entrepreneur here in Singapore, and I really love his book, and I love to network with him, but obviously he doesn't know who I am. So what I did was I ordered 50 books, so I can give away for Christmas presents. And then because you ordered 50 books, then you were like, ooh, who's this guy that ordered 50 books? And then that's when I've been a big fan.
Right.
And everybody can say they are fans, but action speaks louder than words, right?
Right. And then he goes to Amazon and he writes a 5-star review for the book. And then he holds up the book and he does a little video and he sticks it up on social media. And after a while, whoever that author is going, who is this guy?
Yeah. Familiarity, right? So I love it. Wow, it's value. Okay, next person. We have only about 15 more minutes.
Okay, then I want another question from you.
Yeah, I'll
you
wrap
got
up
other.
with the last
Okay.
person.
Okay.
Max, and then we'll go to you. Okay, come. Microphone to him.
Hi, Ron.
Hi.
My name is Max. I just want to double click on what you mentioned just now in one of your answers. So I'm actually a trainer, and what you said just now actually hit me really hard. You mentioned that you were addicted. And of course, I'm only 33, and you're speaking for 30 years. So I want to know...
I'm 34, yeah. I started young.
Okay, great. So I want to know what I expect in this career for myself as well. So I would love for you to elaborate more. What were you addicted to? Because I have a certain addiction as well. This career has a certain adrenaline. It gives you a bit of power and recognition. But I would love for you to elaborate from your point of view.
Can I ask, what do you train people about?
Yeah, so currently I train on 2 topics. Number 1 is presenting on stage and closing from stage.
Okay.
Yeah, and number 2 is more of like digital marketing and e-commerce. That was what I used to train previously. I love the feeling of that audience recognition to be up front. It feels very significant.
Yeah.
And it keeps you going back and back
Right.
and back again. And it's always very nice to tell your friends that you are a speaker, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you said that, I thought that was really honest, because few speakers would admit that. Yeah, and I would love to hear your point of view. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you all notice how many times in this room your colleagues, comrades in this boot camp, have stood up and said, I knew you when I bought your first book, you trained me in, right? That's a kind of, years later recognition for a very, not just value creation, but a distinctive value creation. Like when you taught, why it was called Up Your Service. The adrenaline that one can get addicted to could be the purely almost statistical evaluation. How long did they clap for? Okay, how much is the check that they sent me? How many requests am I getting to speak? How many flights did I do? What's my ranking in a guru rank, whatever that kind of thing is. And I'm not saying that those don't have their appeal, and in a certain sense, their payoff. But it evaporates real quick. And as soon as that one's done, you're looking at the next one. And if somebody else gets it, there's like a vulnerability in that, right? However, if you find a domain, remember we were talking about domain expertise, in which you actually feel a calling, like, ooh, that intrigues me. People need to maybe get up on stage and do their thing, and then they just there's something weak about the way they close. And they deserve to do better, because they're serving the audience well as a speaker, and they've got a good back-end product, whether it's a workshop or it's a book or consulting or coaching or whatever it might be, and I can help them. Okay, so then, but you hear my voice, it's like, I want to do this, I care about it. Now, let me figure out how to do it in a way that is so distinctive that I can be proud of it. So distinctive that I do it in my own unique way. It doesn't have to be transformationally completely different, but in my own style, my own unique way, that will then have people go, oh, that's him. So then the recognition, who are you competing with? You. It's not a competition then. It's just an authentic expression of who you are. And I've been very, very grateful and privileged to be able to do that, not just with service improvement, and not just with the service improvement on the front line, like at the airport where I started out helping, or the police, or HDB, or CPF, but actually then service as a strategy, then service in B2B as well as B2C, business to business as well as business to consumer, then internal service between finance and IT and HR as well as external customers, and then building a culture of service within a large, complex organization. So the field just kept challenging me to create, to invent. And I would say that I'm more addicted to that. Like with CARE, you can hear my, ooh, I got 30, it's gonna take me 30, I'm looking forward to it. I'm alive. Who's gonna die when you're like that? And that's a healthy addiction.
Well, and can I see if I get you right? Because remember just now you talk about stage fright, right? That the reason why we're afraid is because we put attention on ourselves. So it could also be the same thing as well. The addiction can be healthy and unhealthy. Unhealthy is where our starting point is ourselves. But if the starting point is there a problem in this world that I really want to solve and it aches me, irritates me, like I think I can do much better in solving this problem?
Or it doesn't irritate me, it turns me on. It's like,
woo!
What an exciting problem that the world hasn't solved yet.
So maybe that's how we can do it. So even when we came up with the business theme, within the business theme, what is a problem that is still existing that you would love to solve? That would be a great way. You have a question? Okay, come.
The hair was already standing up before the hand.
He's excited.
Hi, sir. My name is Terence. We just met 10 years ago, and I'm asking this for a friend. So you have
what? Your friend is not in this room, not allowed.
Great. I'm asking the classic line. Go ahead.
No, I've never done stand-up comedy, so I'm just having a go at it. So I noticed that you have lots of energy, more energy than most people. What would you say to somebody who is more introverted and who wants to be more energetic in their communication, sir?
Okay. It's a good question. I'm just going to slightly, hold the mic. Just let's tweak the way you asked it, because you said, what if somebody's natural style is not to be this kind of energetic, extroverted, entertaining style? How can they be more energetic? And can I just shift it to, how can they be even more successful as the speaker that will be them at their best, which may not be energetic. Okay? For example, W. Mitchell is a professional speaker that was in a motorcycle accident in which the gas tank blew up, and it completely wiped out his face from having recognizable features except scars, and burned hands, et cetera, the guy completely disabled. He didn't let it stop. He kept going in life, and he learned how to fly planes. And then his plane crashed. And the plane crash broke his back and put him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. So now you get this guy, right, who doesn't look anything attractive. His spirit comes through, that's very attractive, right? And he's stuck in a wheelchair, and he became one of the world's most successful professional speakers. Right? Now, I don't recommend doing that to have a story to talk about, by the way, okay? And the guy, he comes wheeling out on stage. Stage is completely, room is darkened, black stage, boom, spotlight. Nobody's saying a word, right? Now, if I get up there and nobody's saying a word for like 30 seconds, I'm going to get heckled. I didn't come here to hear you say nothing, right? This guy, he could sit there for 5 minutes, nobody's going to say a word. And at a certain point, he goes, have you ever been in jail? I have. I wake up, and I'm in this prison every day.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that's the most energetic he gets. And then he's like this the whole time, and at the end people are crying, and of course, right? But he didn't say, how can I be more energetic? How can I be more me? That's your question.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. So how can we be more me? More our style?
Find out what you love, what you love, what turns you on, not fake, not like you're chasing something somebody else said would be your definition of success. Be you. Look at this guy, he's being him, right?
Yes. Okay, wait, he has been raising his hand, so I'll go him and go you, okay? All right. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Ron. Ravi from Singapore Airlines.
Hi, Ravi.
Hey. We met years ago. After service
friend.
as well. So
were you flying?
I was flying, and then I went to the corporate side of Singapore Airlines, still right there.
Got it. Yeah. Sim Kiwi era?
Yes, Sim Kiwi era. We met then of your service and the videos that we did together. Yeah. So I want to ask you this question, and I think because you answering the very first question said you get your energy from people. I do a lot of public speaking now, and on behalf of the rest who potentially want to become public speakers, how do you think the Asian market, in terms of audience, differs from that of the Western world? Because the audience obviously are different, and sometimes our Singaporeans don't respond to the speakers as quickly as they should. So, yeah, fact. So how would you regard...
as you'd like.
Yeah. Okay. So how would you regard the audience between the two worlds?
Sure.
And one other question that Melvin is very passionate about is my partner. You asked me to match up with him, right? It's about Eric. We're all inspired by Eric, and what was that X factor that you saw in Eric that allowed you to have him under your wings?
Oh,
Sure,
wow.
sure. Okay, good. Two good questions. So I'll answer the one about Eric first, okay? What was just absolutely evident was the urge to love. Right? He's not a guy who walks in the world with an urge to sell, although he sells very well. Or an urge to present, although he's a genius presenter. Or an urge to create IP, which he does extremely well, and you all know that from being in the boot camp for 2 days and being in the year-long program. You're in the right place. But he just exudes this desire to be engaged in situations either that he loves, like he loves clothing, right? He loves a certain style and elegance. I can imagine when you go into your hotel room at the W, wherever it is in the world.
I don't touch carpets, I touch suits.
Yeah.
So
and he's
good.
probably the guy, when he pulls back the cover at night, he caresses the pillow before he puts his head on it, right? There's that certain aesthetic love for the world, but he also loves engaging ways of being with other people. So, that one is cool. And the first question, just give me a reminder.
Different
okay.
audiences.
Yeah, but you collapsed all of Asia into one market. Did you get that? You know, between the West and Asia. Really? Dude. Okay. So, for example, if you speak in India and you think the problem is people aren't going to raise their hand and ask you a question and follow, good luck getting the microphone away from someone after they've ripped it out of somebody else's hand, right? I mean, completely different thing. So let's contextualize this for Singapore. Okay? Do you notice when I did that thing, rip your hand, clap your hand, and talk to your partner, right? What the heck was I doing? Right? I was creating an engagement between you so that the energetic connection wasn't just you and me, and are you going to be the embarrassed one who raised their hand, and I'm afraid to raise my hand. No, it's going to be a we right from the beginning, but I helped generate that. Okay, so if you're going to be the person in the room, you are responsible for the energy in the room. If you're saying they're not responding as much as they should, well, we got to flip that around. As much as we have created, and you're the one who's got the power position on stage with the microphone at the side. You set it up, man. You bring it all home, okay? Okay, good.
Beautiful.
Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again.
Okay, questions. Go one, and then, oh, that's a lot more. Let's check time. Okay, probably only have time for about 3 more questions.
I still want your questions, and you had more than one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, Ron, first
Hi.
of all, Max wants to say hi. Max Shawana.
Max, Max, okay.
Okay, by the way, my name is Jenny. So
Hi, Jenny.
my question for you is, what was your darkest period in your life, and how did you get out of it?
Behaving in a way that wasn't in alignment with who I said I was. Okay? Having an idea and a vision of the person I want to be, and then finding myself behaving in ways that weren't that. And having to actually confront that and recognize the implications and the consequences of that. And then going through, okay, now, I don't think what I just said, I'm the only person in the room who knows what I'm talking about. Why do beings incarnate on this planet? It's going to get a little esoteric here, but why do you have your life? Well, there's some soul path you're on, or whatever your belief is about whatever, right? You're here. But why this place? Why a place that has wet biological things called bodies that we inhabit that don't last forever? Like dying is part of getting one. Okay? With all the tragedy that's naturally just built into that. And we're not talking about all the other tragedies that come along with car accidents or whatever else happens in life. So the reason for this place and this way of being is because there's friction. There's this thing called gravity that holds you down, and eventually it's going to wear you down and it's going to put you down back where dust to dust. Right? So what are the lessons that you can learn in this place that may not be available in other places? Like if there were other ways of being that existed that didn't involve having this thing called a temporary mortal, intriguingly sensuous, but at the same time problematic body. Or relationships, like sisters and families and brothers and stuff like that, parents and kids, right? But that is where we are, and it comes with friction. It comes with challenges. It comes with unmet expectations. It comes with broken dreams. It comes with crisis. It comes with the territory. You're going to get your version. There's nobody who reaches my age who says, man, it's been a smooth ride. I don't think there's anybody here who would say that your life has been a smooth ride. But that was the point. That's why we're here. So I appreciate the question, and I hope that my answer, without getting into any specifics, because that would be really personal and inappropriate for this audience, is enough to have everybody here going, yeah, that thing that I'm really pissed off about, or that I really didn't like that happened, but maybe there was a gift in it somewhere. Yeah. And I'm still alive, so I still have time to figure that out.
And in the context of speaking, right?
Okay.
If you have no stories, no challenges, then you come up here and say, oh, my life is smooth and very successful, thank you. It's not very inspiring. But then when you come out and say, shit happens, you have a lot more exciting stories, it makes you very relatable as well.
There's a pony in here somewhere, right?
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay, next. Well, let's pick this row.
You. Give me one of your ones. Okay. Do you remember your questions?
I have a lot, but
no, you gave me a certain set of them, and I thought about the answers. Go ahead.
Okay. One of the questions I asked him as well was, in 30 years, he have interacted with a lot of great speakers, right? Is there anyone that has really impressed you recently or previously, and why?
Sure. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So one of them, of course, is W. Mitchell. They just came out spontaneously in the answer to the other question. But there are three in particular recently. That was the key thing that you indicated. One is a fellow named Johnny Taylor. He's a black guy who's an attorney, who is the chief executive officer of the Global Society for Human Resources Professionals. So HRM, like you would like to speak for that group, right? And they've got 350,000 HR professionals who are members of this association. This guy's the CEO. I meet him in Dubai because they're having a conference. I'm one of their speakers. It's his show. And they put us on a panel together. And we're sitting in a room filled with Arabs who are heads of HR for some of the largest companies in the Middle East, and they're all wearing their head, and here we are, this black guy and this white guy with a Jewish last name at this moment in time in history. And somebody asks, what is it that we should learn about XYZ? And he looks at them and he goes, my best advice would be for you to learn from the mistakes that we've been making in the United States. Whoa. Well, yeah, the audience didn't clap because they didn't know what he was talking about yet, but then he filled in the blank and they clapped, right? So I give you an example when he said, we got into this whole thing about diversity, and the problem is the way we did it in the United States, everybody's focused on how they're different from each other. So then we tried to compensate for that by saying inclusion, diversity and inclusion, and then we went to belonging. Oh, but the problem with that was if you have belonging, then you just created people who don't belong. But you said you were doing include. Just use that as an example of don't make our mistake, right? Or how about this one? Bring your authentic self to work. He said, I don't want you to bring your authentic self to work. I want you to bring your working self to work. And he gave an example, and he was name dropping, but it was right within his flow because it's who he is. He goes, last week, the CEO of Microsoft asked me to fly out to have a conversation with him, so I did. Okay, Satya Nadella. And he said, one of the mistakes we made is when COVID broke out, I said to everybody in a town hall, if it matters to you, it matters to us. And the next day, one of our hundreds of thousands of team members around the world, their dog died. And it became Microsoft's problem. Right, so there was that, just that kind of, humility. So that was definitely one. Another, and I recommend you guys.
And why that? So with all that context, but why is he impressive to you?
Brilliant, articulate, and humble. Right, and willing to say, I'm not here to tell you we got our act together. I'm here to also tell you we're a learning community, HR professionals, and you guys over here, you could learn from their mistakes. Now, he's kind of set it up because I got to be the guy that then said, and you folks actually have an advantage that you could bring to the world culturally. Because when I realized I didn't understand Islam, I studied domain expertise. Not that I'm going to become an imam, right? But I wanted to know what I didn't know. And I learned that the origin of Islam, anybody know what it is? Right, here we sit in Asia. Okay, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a guy alive at a certain time who noticed that it was the widows and the orphans in his own society that were getting the shortest end of the stick. The least amount of care, the least amount of support, the least respect. And he said, what kind of community is this? Where the poorest and the weakest amongst us are being treated like that? He said, let's start a community where the purpose is to take care of the people in the community who need care. And that was the origin. Obviously the way it's evolved has taken on its own life. But that was the origin of Islam. I didn't know that. So I'm sitting there with all these Arabs and I go, wait a minute, if that's in your cultural origin, care for the well-being of those who most need it, imagine the kind of cultural messages that you could help develop in your corporate cultures and share with other people around the world. And they're all sitting there going, wow, we needed this guy from outside to come share with us. Because I was willing to do that work of homework and then be able to show perspective. And that's the kind of thing you can do as a speaker. Any audience you get up in front of, you're not really one of them, are you? Because you're the one that's up on stage. So what are you going to bring to the party that's going to be something special, something different, and something that makes them see an opportunity or appreciate something about themselves?
Wow. I love that. Thank you, Ron. So a great speaker that helped, instead of making themselves the hero, they make the audience the hero. That's my takeaway. Okay, we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. I'll wrap up with my last question. 3, okay. Pick me! Okay, come.
Okay. No, it's okay. The other one.
1,
Everybody write
and
this
then
down.
we have time for 3, okay? So 1, and then just now we have 1 here. Any from this row? If no, then we finish with
What
Sarah,
you said was,
okay?
I said 3 speakers.
Yeah.
Peter Zeihan, or Peter Zeihan, ZEIHAN.com. ZEIHAN.com. Go there, subscribe, watch his videos. The guy's like every single day, he's just riffing like this. He's freaking brilliant geopolitical strategist and advisor, and he's talking about the most current stuff spontaneously, but you listen to him and you go, this dude knows what he's talking about. And he's learned to express it like this. And if you find him on YouTube, you can find complete keynote speeches that he gives, and just watch him. I mean, you know, brilliant performance. Okay? And then I mentioned Mitchell, so that makes 3. Done.
Well,
Next.
we'll study them next week, shall we? Since next week, we're going to be learning public speaking. Okay, so that's what you meant by the 3rd speaker. Okay, I got you. Thank you. Okay, we missed out someone. So, Ruben, and then we finish up with Sarah. Or Sarah first, then Ruben. Sarah first? Sarah's here? Yes, okay. Go for it,
Hi,
Sarah.
Ron, thanks for sharing. My name is Sarah. I'm in the
Sarah, is it
financial services.
SEIRA, SARA, or SARAH, or some other version?
SARAH.
Okay, now why am I asking? Because when the day comes that you've printed your book and you're signing it to someone, and they say, my name is Sarah, stop, pause, ask to check, because if you write it out the wrong way, what you going to do with that book? Carry it with you for the rest of your life until you find one that spells it that way?
That's right, yeah. Okay, I'm from the financial services industry. So my husband started talking about retiring next year. So it sets me thinking, being a very hard-driven worker in this industry, passion. I have lots of passion for the work I do, but I think there has to come a time where I start to scale down. But I'm thinking, what's next? I don't have much hobbies except work. So I thought, hey, when I watched his webinar, I was kind of inspired. If I have this wealth of knowledge in the industry, why not I give back to society? I can coach more people, right? So I just want to know, is there any X factor that we must have to engage in this career?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm very old now. What is the kind of runway that I can look at?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Good. So first of all,
I have to first say, the old part, no way. She looks so young. Okay, go for it.
Okay. So the first part is, it's absolutely obvious to me, and probably to everybody else in the room, is you have the X factor. You have the passion. You have the desire. You have the drive. You called it the financial services industry. She didn't say I'm in banking. She didn't say I'm in insurance. She said I'm in the financial services. So you get that it's about helping and contributing to the well-being of other people. You've got that already. But you also already get that because you've had this career, you have some wisdom.
Yeah.
Right? You have now not just sort of the tactical skill, let me show you how to sell, or let me help you configure a portfolio, or make a choice between policies, or this and that. You actually have the ability to give some counsel. And that kind of capability, like I'm doing now, doesn't come from when you're the young Turk and you're out there and you're making it happen and you're a bit of a workaholic, aren't you? Right? Okay. So there's 2 parts of this. One is to jump over to that part of the next strength in your life that really is more about imparting and sharing the wisdom and the counsel. And there's a huge need for that all over the world today, especially in financial services where our schools don't do a good job of teaching it. So you could do a lot there for people, okay? The other part of that, aside from making the shift about what you're going to teach about, is how much time you're going to spend doing that and what else are you going to do. So, for example, my wife and I live in a penthouse at Bayshore Park. It's a 99-year condo. In this country, I can say that and everybody knows what I'm talking about. And at some point, we don't know when, it'll get torn down because it'll go en bloc. Okay? Let's say that happens in 15 years. At that point, I don't want to be trying to find my next place to live. And one of the things we have inside our house is a soundproof studio. We've got this big open kitchen that we designed because Jen loves to cook. She's very generous in feeding people, etc. So we've decided, okay, let's buy a piece of landed property and build a house. But let's build the kind of house that's not our house. It's a house that's in the community, with the community, for the community, because the more we engage with our neighbors and other folks and people, the better it's going to be for us. We know that, right? So, I mean, the amount of time that's going into designing this thing, and then we're going to, I mean, like, we're going to have hassles and harassment out the yin-yang, and it'll all be worth it, because it's going to suck up a bunch of my time that I would otherwise be making the next LinkedIn post, or I'd be, doing the next piece of marketing material, and I've been doing that for all those years. And I'm not going to stop being productive and energetic and engaging, but I had to make two shifts. One is how and who am I going to serve, and what am I going to be serving about? So the care jump for me is like your wisdom about finance for you, right? And the methodology jump for me is get me off the planes, but get me into other environments like this. Okay? Oh, you have until you die. You live a long time. I mean, the longer you do what you love, the longer you're going to stay alive, period.
Yeah, well said, Alan. The previous speaker, we interviewed a previous speaker, Peter. He shared a science study, and they found longevity with value as a human being. That selfish people die young. It's based on science. And that where there's no purpose in this world, that you have no contribution, you have nothing to do and give, your body just dies. So it's very cool that when you talk about value and care, it actually can increase longevity as well.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So as long as you keep serving, you'll keep doing it. Because there's a reason to. Good luck, you'll be living long. Okay, final question, Ruben, and then we take a group picture before we wrap up, okay, shall we? Ruben, you got the pressure of the last question.
Yeah.
No, I will take the last.
So you go.
I want to get real personal right now. Wait, so my name is Ruben. I'm an overall wellness.
How personal do you want to get?
Oh, very personal.
Touch carpets together. Oh. Oh my God.
No, that's not a real. You know what a hug is.
Real camera on this. Okay, real camera on this.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks.
Okay, right. So this question is something that I faced a couple of years back. So while we're in this career, we have to be self-driven. We are always in the run for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, right? So can you share with us a moment in time where you just stopped flowing? You reached a stage of burnt out, or you eventually felt a little jaded with what you're doing. You were like having thoughts of, oh, what am I doing right now? Oh, is this the right thing? Or just feeling jaded in general. So could you share with us a moment in time on that? And how do you actually overcome it? Because passion is often fleeting. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that element of life is going to mess you up that we were talking about before in terms of tragedy and crisis and breakdown and frustration and pain. It comes with the territory, right? But life is also going to bring magic that you can't predict or plan. It's going to happen, right? It happens in life. And in my particular case, there was a time where I was burned out on the business, and especially the part of the business that was hippity hop through business class lounges and hotel rooms and stages and all that. But I was on the treadmill. I was on the hamster wheel like everybody else, and there's a lot of momentum that builds up with that. And so I just had this moment of frustration, and then I went scuba diving. Now, he mentioned that a couple times. I've done more than a couple thousand scuba dives. Okay, so that's a really avid diver. And when you spend that much time in the waves and underwater, it just kind of shapes and influences your being to a certain extent. So I was scuba diving in Western Australia, and I was looking for whale sharks. And I went with a friend, a guy. There were two guys who went scuba diving. It was funny because he had a bum knee, and they put us on this little inflatable boat, and there was, chop out there, bum, 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 bum. And so we got back to the shop afterwards, and I went up to the counter, and I said to the person there, we can't go on that boat again because it's damaging my partner's knee. And in Australia, partner means your lovers. Okay, so they all thought I was gay. Right, but it turns out that the woman behind the counter, remember, this is the era where I'm kind of jaded on the business, her customer service was phenomenal. I mean, like so good that I literally flew back to Australia 3 weeks later and went to this godforsaken little town called Exmouth, 15-hour drive north of Perth, just to go there because I needed to do some more diving and take her out to dinner. And now she's sitting over there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So if you take what you said at the beginning as true, like, you know, we're all doing this, and you don't have some other balance in your life, you're going to burn. You're going to burn at some point. And it's not just professional speakers trying to get the keynote speech and the check. It's everybody who becomes like a competitive workaholic. And there's a time for that in life. What are you, 30-something?
I'm actually 23 this year.
The boy burning young.
The
world be changing.
Because I was doing clinical psych previously.
Yeah.
And I moved on because I didn't see eye to eye with the practice. So I moved on to opening up my own clinic. And that's why.
And what do you do?
Overall wellness. So I coined this new term as a coach. of this.
Okay. You're in the healthcare space.
Yeah.
And do you have any professional qualification, or is it?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
What? What?
I used to do applied drama and psychology. So throughout my life, even though I'm just 23,
You're a therapist.
Yeah, and I've jumped.
You're not a
lot.
clinician.
Used to be junior clinician.
Okay.
But I moved on from that, so now I open up my own stuff. Okay. And I used to do theater as well, and then now I'm doing this, and I'm doing financial
So it's
consultancy
expressive
as well.
therapy, and you're doing drama work.
Yeah,
and,
a whole lot of stuff.
His eye, if you could see what I just saw, the moment I said expressive therapy and drama, his eyes went. And that was the first moment when you stopped being compressed and worried and concerned and anxious and wanting to get an answer to your question. That was the first moment when you showed up. Because you can talk about your story about, well, I did this and I moved on from that and yada yada. It's not particularly sexy. It's not attractive. The energy's not attractive. Like that's when you said I wanted to get really personal. I said, come on, I'll give you a hug. And you were stiff.
Oh, shocked.
Yeah, and then when I went to hug you, you were stiff. But then come on, you know what a hug is. Okay, you melted a little bit, right? But the thing that really melted you is when there was that moment when the spark was there about what you love. And what you love is that expressive, dramatic, and it's wholesome and it's healing and it continues. Yeah, now you're something that. Okay? When you spend your time finding that and expressing it and getting better at it and getting more certification about it or whatever other stuff you choose to do from 23, right? You'll bump into times when it kind of burns out. And you'll find, but always the thing that will never burn out is what makes you passionate. But you may have to be quiet sometimes or let go of the story to let that resurface.
Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Not always a joy, right? But find that joy. All right? Good luck to you.
Oh my God. Thank you, Ron.